I have no idea why.
So, man, get your shit together.
Yeah, get your shit together, Zill.
I'm here. I exist. Am I on the podcast or not on the podcast?
What a pain in the nuts.
Why doesn't his work?
I don't know. I honestly, like, this just happens every now and then, and I literally have no idea why. Because it was working before. And now, like, it's not. So, don't know.
Guess we gotta get him a new camera too.
Yeah, you should. I'll just send him my camera and get me a new camera.
Just send him your whole system, dude. Just send everything.
Okay, so I just did it. Hey, he's back. We got him.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And it looks good. And yeah. All right. I need to zoom in my camera a little bit. Oh, too close.
Now go right to the eyes. Let's go right to the eyes. So you're serious, like, look at my fucking eyes.
Oh my
Listen
God,
to me.
that's so perfect.
This is on stream, by the way.
Dear Lord, that's terrifying.
We're zooming out. We're zooming it back out. Okay, that's good. That's what I'm looking for. Cool. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, we're going live in 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome to League of Legends Anonymous podcast, episode 205? Yeah, 205. Right. All right, so with me this week, we got a full house of all three dudes. Ollie's here. What's up, Tycho?
What's up, guys? Finally back. 2-week hiatus.
Yeah, did you spend that hiatus coming up with a new summoner name?
No, man.
No?
The hiatus, climbing the ladder.
Wasted
Climbing
time.
the ladder.
As was a wasted time, man. But no, he climbed the ladder, though. That's good.
Yeah, man. I'm
Do you-
exactly 10 games from Diamond. 10 games.
Do you think, like,
Jesus.
good job. That's 10 wins, though, right?
That's 10 wins. That's
All
going to
right.
happen
It's gonna win,
regardless.
everyone.
10 wins? Oh, yeah.
I believe.
I went on a 18-game win streak to Diamond last year.
Jesus, 18?
Yeah,
Wasn't
well,
that
They're
flat?
fucking good.
to be
Three,
fair,
almost,
Exiles and I were in the fucking promos to Diamond, and then we lost like 14 games in a row, and then we won 18 games in a row.
So was that
No.
first win after 18 losses, was that like, what, 16, 15
Oh,
LP?
dude, that was like, oh, thank God, it stopped. It's finally over. You know,
Fuck.
I can
Can't imagine
only.
the amount of LP.
I can only imagine it's like you're in like World War II or something, and they like announced armistice, and you're just like, oh, thank God. Like, I don't have to be in the trench anymore. That's, yeah, it was fucking terrible. But yeah, 18 straight. So if I can do that, you could do 10. It should be easy, right?
It's easy for me, dog.
Have
I'm
you
at that gym.
Have you found that people are like throwing games to you more often because you know they feel
Like, to
sorry?
me?
Yeah, because they feel sorry for your terrible summoner name.
No.
No,
No. No.
that's
No.
surprising. That's
They love my
surprising.
summoner.
No charity games apply.
No charity games have been.
No charity.
They're like, oh, but he's
No,
probably.
they actually, the other day I played with, you know that streamer, Frost Prime? He's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Yeah, I played with him. He's like a YouTuber. He's pretty well known. He was playing mid lane Cass, fucking terrible, but our jungler through the game. So I was more pissed that I lost to a streamer on stream.
Yes.
I hate that.
Oh, dude, I played with Magikarp used Fly once.
Yeah, that's his buddy.
Oh, really?
He's funny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his buddy. Yeah.
I played with that guy. He was very off-putting. The game I played with him.
Isn't he like only like Plat? Is that his highest?
Yeah, it was in Platt.
Okay.
That we were like, it was around that elo when I played with him. So yeah, that seems about right. So anyway, so yeah, guys. Also with me is Zill. Hey Zill, what's up?
Hey,
So Zill, you sound a lot better.
I know. It's great. I've got this thing called a microphone that works.
Yes.
It's real cool.
So
Yay!
all right, so
That's good now.
a little bit of thank you here to the listeners. Like, you guys, you sent a lot of feedback. Like, hey, we like Zill,
sucks.
but his mic sucks. Can you guys fix that, please? Like, we can't understand or hear him, and the sound quality is terrible. And I was like, you know what? I can do that by buying myself a new mic and sending Zill my old one. So I listened to your feedback and bought myself a mic.
So thank you guys.
And in the process,
Thank you,
we gave
listeners.
Zilla a good mic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, though, like, I've been podcasting for 4 years, and Zilla's been here for, like, what, 2 months?
Ish, yeah. Something
Yeah.
like that.
So, you don't get the Class A mic. This is a 4-year
Gotta work
reward
up the
for
ladder.
service. You can climb that corporate ladder, boy. Your mailroom at the moment, and I even still got you a mic.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, you're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
But no, thanks to you guys for supporting us. After the mic expenditure, we are down to $42, but we have also covered all of our monthlies. So we got $42 left over to do something with. And, after this next month, we should have some more left over beyond that, which may turn into prizes for our tournament. Zill, what's going on with the tournament? Everybody wants to know.
Hey, yeah. So, just make sure you guys are signing up in the announcements page in Discord. There's a Google sign-up sheet there. Just put your name, put your rank, put any notes after it if you want to like play with a friend of yours or something like that on the same team. I will be closing that at so next Thursday actually. So we got 7 more days to sign up. And then I'm going to organize teams, and I'll announce when the tournament's going to be and all that stuff. I'll
Okay.
try to give everyone plenty of time.
So when
How
you
many do we
say next Thursday, you mean Thursday, September 20th?
That is correct.
Okay, because by the time people listen to this, it may be like Wednesday.
true. That's
So you gotta throw a hard date on that. So
Okay.
the 20th.
20th.
Mm-hmm.
I will be removing the ability to add your name to the sign-up sheet. So make sure you're in before then, please. And if you don't know if you're in, you message me, you think you're in, just go there and check. It's in the announcement section on Discord. Helped me out a lot. Make sure you get in.
And do we have a date, like a hard date for that?
I don't. I was going to make it on a community games night. Let's go ahead and say October 2nd. That's about a month away, or 3-ish half weeks or so.
That's a Wednesday. The Wednesday, right?
Or sorry, no, it's a Tuesday. October 3rd. Let's do October 3rd.
All right, community tournament. That'll be fun. So cool.
And I'll have teams set up well before then, so you guys will know.
Yeah. So you like overeager hyperachievers can like plan strategies and play with your
Yeah.
team and
I
whatnot.
want
That'll
some
be
wombo
fun.
combos. That's what I want to see.
I'll see whatever the fuck people bring. Like, I don't care if it's 5 assassins. If it works,
Yeah.
go for it. So like, all right, so cool. That's happening. There was something else I was going to announce, and I can't remember what. Fuck. I don't know. Thank you.
Prizes?
Yeah,
No?
thank you guys for the new sweet microphone. Either way, I know I already said it, but thanks. It's cool. By the way, this thing is so fucking sensitive that I can walk all the way down the hallway, and it still sounds like I'm close from what I hear, which is stupid. And I don't know how that works because that's got to be like 40 feet away.
Yeah, I can hear like insects in Blake's apartment right now.
Well, yeah, and I don't know how this is. This may backfire because of my children. So we'll see what happens, but it's looking like it's picking up everything.
You can hear
So-
your heartbeat.
Well, yeah, Rachel hanging out in the Discord, I was trying it out, and she's like, like I had my headset on and I plugged in the new mic, and she's like, "Oh my god, it sounds like you're talking with your diaphragm now." Like, excellent. This is what we need for the podcast. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. If we end up generating even more money, I may end up like getting one of these for like everybody. So let's see if we can get that done, get the audio to be a little bit crisper on the podcast. I think that'd be sweet. So either way, that would be cool. And the other things we've talked about, everybody in the podcast needs to get in their videos so I can use our video editor that the community was so nice to pay for. That's coming. We have a thing coming. So hype for the future. We have a thing coming. Okay, so guys, today we're going to do a little rant. And that rant is going to be over we've hammered the UNSW Law Society videos a ton. So I'm not going to actually rant about that. I'm going to go on a really short rant about Worlds. And then we're going to go talk about the UNSW Law Society videos from a different angle. Right? And then we have a bit of a discussion on shot calling to kind of round out the show and like, you know, how you do that and when do you follow it and what works and what doesn't, right? So let's get started. Worlds is coming up. We already have our first NA team has qualified, and that is Team Liquid. And I think 100 Thieves is also qualified as our second seed by points because the way that worked out is if C9 had beat Team Liquid, then C9 would qualify as 1, Team Liquid would qualify as 2. But since Team Liquid won, 100 Thieves has more points than C9, so C9 goes to Gauntlet, and 100 Thieves is in. Right? So, we're sending 100 Thieves and Team Liquid bare minimum. The third place will be whoever wins out of the Gauntlet. You've got like Echo Fox, TSM, C9, and those are really the contenders in the Gauntlet right now. So, NA is looking pretty good right now. I think Team Liquid in particular looks pretty strong. You know, you've got your EU teams, like Fnatic seems to look really good.
Oh my god, that mid lane Vayne.
I mean,
that was an insane game. That was an insane game. I could not believe Caps pulled that off. That last fight.
And correct me if I'm wrong, did Schalke qualify or are they in the Gauntlet? Like, who is going out of EU?
Oh, I have no idea, actually. I don't know that. I don't follow much EU.
I know EU... I know EU has, like, Fnatic is going. Because they got in.
I think they're going to the Gauntlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, damn it, they don't really show anything on this Wikipedia site. Oh well, I haven't really been following EU that much, except I have watched a couple of Fnatic games because I like Fnatic and I have a Fnatic jersey. I'm more of a Fnatic fan than I am an EU fan. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the word on the street was that let's see, it is Fnatic and Team Vitality are the two that are going right now. Fnatic from being the split champion and Team Vitality for championship points. So those will be the two that go right now. So the Gauntlet in EU, Schalke is current favorite, but the speculation is that all the teams that are in the Gauntlet are pretty even in EU. Like anybody could come out of that, right? Mm-hmm. That being said,
SKT's out.
SKT's out. Korea is putting up KT Rolster and Africa Freaks, FREECS. And so that's pretty cool. RNG is, of course, going, and Invictus Gaming from China. And then Flash Wolves made it, and Mad Team made it from LMS. So there's that. That being said, every year I get hyped. And I don't know why. Because, like, the smart part of my brain is like, dude, they always fail. Always. And then, like, you start Worlds and one NA team goes, like, 3-0 in the opening days of group phase. And then you're like, oh, my God, we actually are good. This is our year. Every time, yes! And for like the last 2 years, this has fucking happened. Then we go 3-0, and then we turn around and go 0-3, and you're just like, God damn it! We had everything. We were so just win like one game, please.
Oh,
and it's just like
that was unbelievable. So this guy on YouTube, his name's Dumbs. He makes all these stupid like meme videos, and so Riot released that Chase Your Legend or Chase Your Dream video last year, like hyping up NA at Worlds. And he just said like, we had hope for NA because they came out of the day one complete or week one fine, then week two the easiest group ever, and they just lose.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. I forgot we got the group of life.
They get the group of, and everyone on Reddit's like, if they lose, there's no hope for NA ever.
I was there
holding his flash twice in one game. I'll never forget that game.
Yeah,
I twice.
Oh, Pepperidge Farm remembers. Like fucking, and that's the thing. Like every year, I know this shit's gonna happen. Every time, I was like, I know it's gonna go bad. I know when it's gonna go bad, and it will be day 2 of group phases. Manifest destiny. That's what's gonna happen every fucking time, right? And I know not to get hyped, but then I'm like, maybe we are good. Maybe this is our year. And these thoughts like creep into my head, and I'm like, man, they look pretty good. They just beat China. Holy shit, they went 3-0. Wow.
Maybe Riot will rig it. Like Riot's killed a bunch of our memes. Maybe they'll kill the NA meme. Maybe.
God, I hope so. Because I mean, I don't know if I could take it anymore. But like every year I get so hyped, and every year it's just like crushing disappointment. And I think this year is the first year where I'm going into it going, I expect crushing disappointment. And maybe that's like, maybe I'm jaded. I mean, definitely. I just said it. Like, I expect crushing disappointment. I don't know if that's jaded or just smart at this point, right? But this will not be the year that I'm like 100% all in on NA winning Worlds. Well, if they do, I will happily accept it. You know what I mean? Like that'd be a great gift. But like, I don't want to go into this like riding a hype wave and then get crushed, right? And it's weird because other sports don't do that to me, right? Like I don't watch America, like USA, play in the World Cup and go, this is our year. You know what I mean? Like, I've never done that. I've never been like, you know what, Brazil, they're looking kind of shaky. Little bitches running around. We've got Landon Donovan. What are they going to do? You know, and it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, you know? Or you look at somebody like Germany or like, you know, all these like classically awesome teams and you're like, you know what? Maybe USA. No. I think I would actually feel better if I lived in like Ghana or something. And I'd be like, yeah, you know, maybe Ghana. We're really fast. I played them on FIFA. They're good.
No, what was that country? Was it this past cup? That like they had never made it to like semis or something.
Oh, it was like Iceland or something. They had like
Iceland. It was
no, I think it
African
was.
country.
I think it was like Iceland because they had like 39 players and their players like only played soccer part time.
Yeah,
and like one of them was like a coal miner.
yeah.
Like they're like, oh yeah, I had to get off coal mining to come to the World Cup.
Interesting.
That was a pretty good storyline, man.
Was
that was a pretty good storyline.
Let's see.
Uh,
North Korea, was it?
It wasn't. No, North Korea. What? No.
Okay, I'm getting my Google results. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, here's the Google results, and it's Iceland Cinderella story. If you're undecided on a World Cup team to pick Iceland. Right?
All right.
All of these other teams are far more respected and blah, 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 but Iceland has 10% of men and 4.4% of women playing soccer, which is pretty high but their population is only 330,000 people, right?
Fuck?
So they have like literally nobody to choose from.
Yeah.
And that's pretty small. And I swear to God, I read in there that like one of their people is like they have like part-timers because they can't afford to like really field a soccer game, like just a soccer team. They can't do it. So I'm pretty excited. Like that's what it feels like to be an NA fan anymore. And whenever you're like, yeah, Double Lift, he's like the greatest of all time, I'm thinking like Donovan. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Landon Donovan is not that good.
Oh.
He's an American player, and I mean he's good, but he's not like Pele good. You know?
We'll see. We'll see if they can break the week 2 curse.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to be hurt anymore.
Just go with low expectations, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Just don't have hope.
Just give up hope, and then Worlds will be a pleasant experience because you can only go up from here.
That's true.
Imagine if Worlds was like back at, like here in NA, and then NA won. Do you think there would be like riots similar to like how when like the Cavs won like the championship? You know, like people go on the street going crazy. Imagine just surrounding the arena, a bunch of gamers like, holy shit, NA won Worlds. We broke a fucking meme.
No, I would be totally down for that.
Yeah.
That would totally work for me 100%. I wouldn't have any issues with that. In fact, you know, last time NA hosted Worlds, we went, like the podcast guys went, and we had a great time. And I would like to do that again. If it happens to be here again, we're probably like 4 years from now, but there
was
you
last
go.
time?
Huh?
was last time?
Chicago.
Yeah.
That's right. That was what, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Wasn't
so
didn't,
close
wait? That was the
to-
same year they had NALs. Because I remember they had NALCS in Toronto for the first time. I almost went.
Right.
I should have went.
And then the year before that, we went to Madison Square Garden because we all went to New York. That was actually my first time in New York City. I'd never been to New York City. I'd been to the state, just never went to the city, and that was super cool. And anyway, so on to the second part. So cautionary tale: don't fall in love with NA. Just date them. Okay.
Hate them. Send a text here and there. Don't get too attached.
Don't get too attached. You know, swipe left on NA. But
Talk to other dudes.
yeah, maybe it'll come back around. Who knows if it'll work out? But give it a shot. But don't go. They're not marriage material. So
And take them home to mom.
yeah. So okay, that rant is done. Now we have had some feedback from a lot of people in the community. One is Dom. Dom's very vocal in our chat, in our Discord, about the UNSW Law Society videos, because I keep pushing those as like essentially a timeless resource. And my rant last week was, you have to commit to materials like that and doing things like that because that's what it takes. Like, you need to be practicing these things to get better. So like putting in games is great, but you got to put in games on something to get better. Like, just games themselves will not make you better if you're doing it without direction, right? And that was kind of like a lot of what my rant was about last week. But you and Dom got in a good conversation, and you guys said, well, you know, we're more of like hands-on learning guys. Like, we want to do something, and that's how we learn. Like, we don't learn from seeing things, we learn from doing things, right? And my analogy in response was okay, but if I told you to build a house, right, and I put down all the materials you need in a pile, and I give you a hammer, I'm like, go, right? You're going to build a pretty shitty house. And maybe if you build that house 5,000 times, you will eventually get something that maybe doesn't leak, right? But you're going to be really hard self-teaching yourself how to do that. Or I could give you all that stuff and a blueprint. And if I gave you a blueprint, then, perhaps you do. Hey, Max.
Hello.
All right, go upstairs. Love you, buddy. Podcasting right now.
Bye, Max.
Dad,
Yeah,
can I tell you something?
not right now.
After you're done podcasting,
Yeah, sure.
thank you, Dad.
You're welcome. Love you, buddy.
Love you, Dad.
Okay. Well, train of thought is totally blown, but so yeah.
Small society videos building a house.
If I gave you blueprints, you'd probably be able to do that a lot more effectively with a lot less effort, right? And the first time you built it, it would probably vaguely resemble a house, which would probably be a huge step of improvement. These are the blueprints, right? So I have challenged you to watch the videos because you had actually told me that you had never watched them, right? And
I've never watched like maybe one video. It looks like I Professor Milk one time, but most of the information I got from like just reading stuff or learning in the game.
Mhm.
I mean, every season I put in like minimum 1,000 games, and I'd be lucky if I climbed one division, like from like gold to flat. So I watched like the first episode was Trading Stance. I'm like, what the hell is Trading Stance? And I was like, and he starts explaining, it's like, oh, so when your minion's about to die, go in and use like your poke ability, your auto attack, as if you're an ADC, and just trade. I'm like, oh, so it's just easy trading. And I'm like, okay, I do that already. But then I seen the video, he's doing the one thing, like he's not doing like the more extended trades, especially in the early levels, because he's avoiding their high poke abilities. Like he was using like Victor, is it E, the laser,
Mhm.
and then there was the Ari had a charm, and what he did is that he just pokes at the E, and then he just backs off. For me, what I do in game, I go side to side, trying to avoid that ability, but then at the same time when I do in those games, because I use most likely an auto attack, then I'm taking minion aggro unnecessarily. So I was like, oh, okay. So I probably shouldn't do that. I should just take one poke, get out. And then there was a couple of times he was just explaining like when it's better to CS, even when you're really, really, really tempted to just go for an all-in trade.
Mhm.
So,
So-
yeah, I mean, like in like 7 minutes, I learned something that I haven't really thought of before.
Okay. So, like, you're a plat player, right? So, fair to say, you know a good bit about the game.
Yeah, I think I did.
That's fair. You're in the top, 8% of the player base at plat?
3.8. I checked.
Hey, 3.8. There you go. So,
I
plat,
want that 1%
plat
so
3
bad.
is at top 4%. So,
Yeah.
cool. So, top 3.8% of the player base. I mean, that's pretty legit. You're already at an A scholastically, right? 94%.
Mom,
Or
I'm
96, I guess, because it's top
Yeah.
4. So that's even better. So yeah, you're an A, man. You're an A League of Legends player. That's pretty fucking good. So you know a lot about League, right? If you had watched these videos 3 years ago, and I mean that's just you've watched one.
Like honestly, maybe one or two. I've never watched videos. I might read, but am I going to retain that information later? Probably not.
But I mean these videos that I made you watch
These
today.
videos are this video was like it was quick. It was pretty informative and like it got to the point. There was no like just fooling around explaining when it's good. When it's, she just showed us.
All right,
I want
so
to see, want to use it.
you were a skeptic before we started this. Like, are these videos? Because like he had some comments before we started. He's like, "What?
Yeah.
2016?
Yeah.
What the fuck?"
2016. I'm like, God, there's like 30 episodes, but like, oh, they're like 7 minutes. And I'm like, are these aren't long, are they? These aren't boring. It's pretty informative. Felt like a college lecture. Oh no, not college. It felt like a good like a good professor teaching me. You know, when you have a good professor, you enjoy. That's what it felt like.
Like interesting, but yet
Yeah, it was
captivates
interesting,
you enough
informative,
that you
yep.
follow along. Okay. So, I mean, after you've watched this now, do you feel like you have something to work on in your play?
Yeah. Now I know how to do those early those poke betters when those trading stance is better when the minion's about to die. Like try to like actively think: is it better for me to go all in and try to trade, or it's just better to get that one cannon minion?
Okay.
That's the one thing.
Do you think that focus on that one little piece of the game that you watched that 7-minute video on will make you a better player in the next 50 games you play?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
If you were going to try to figure that out on your own without having watched the video, to the level that you understand it at this exact moment, how many games do you think it would have taken you to master what you saw without having seen it?
Master, then it probably not till next season. I mean, like to master it, to know exactly when to do that, I had to be like mid diamond. And
Okay.
the rate I'm going, like 1,000 games per season minimum, be another season.
Okay.
So
that's at bare minimum if you had, and that is that like knowing now, or is that like if you had never seen it at all?
well, I knew
Because basically what I'm saying
option-
is, how many games did that save you in terms of like progressing?
at least 1,000. I mean,
Okay.
like it saved me a lot of time watching these videos because I learned through like doing things, right? And that's the way with that comes trial and error, right? But some people pick it up faster than others. But most of the time, it's better if you just let someone teach you and you learn it and practice it. For me, it takes me 1,000 games per season. Every season, I've only climbed one division.
All
If I
right.
watched these videos a couple of years ago, maybe I'd be diamond already.
There you go. So, 7 minutes for 1,000 games. Worthwhile trade?
Yeah, it's worth. I'd say worth.
Yeah,
Jack,
I'd
worth.
say worth. Yeah. Like, fucking A. It's like pulling teeth to get you to, it's like, watch the fucking video. You're like, right now?
Yeah.
It's like 7 minutes. I'm like, watch the video. We're going to talk about it right now. Go. So, no, I'm glad you did, though. I'm glad you felt like you got something from it. And, like, for the record, are you telling me what I want to hear because I'm bullying you into it live on the podcast, or is this how you actually feel?
I do feel like this. I'm not saying this because you have a gun to my head.
Good. You may remove the gun.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, Jesus.
No, but seriously, guys, you should watch the video. Come on. I mean, like, especially anyone below plat, 100%.
Yeah, I had a unique opportunity that I'm like, hey, he's not seen the video. He's already a plat player, so he's better off than most people who I'm preaching to watch this shit. And like any bronze, silver, gold, that's my point, is no matter where you're at in league, you can get something from this. And these are not meta things. These are not things that go out of style. This is like how you play the game refined. And if you can distill your game to the point that you do these things implicitly, you will improve no matter what.
You got to treat league like school. You got to read the materials. You got to study it.
You
and then
got to
apply
read the
it.
material.
It's that simple. Read, watch the materials. So it's the same concept.
Cool. All right. So, Zil, before we start our speech on Schrodinger's shot call, I would like you to explain for anybody who doesn't or is not familiar with Schrodinger's cat what that thought experiment is and, you know, how it's significant. Because we're going to lean on it a lot during the next discussion. So I feel like we need to really put it out there.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to try to not butcher this too badly. But in unofficial terms, Schrodinger's cat is a way is a kind of approach. It's like an analogy that was given for an approach to quantum physics. Basically, like looking at particular option. There's a cat in the box, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't opened the box. There's also a dish of poison in the box with the cat. And you haven't opened the box yet. Is the cat dead or alive? Well, from a quantum physics sort of approach, it's both. It's both dead and alive before you actually open the box and see whether or not the cat is dead or not.
Okay, so I'm going to back up. The quantum physics bit of it is the positioning of an electron. And in quantum physics, an electron can both simultaneously be and not be in a specific point at the same time. However, it is unknown if that electron is there until it is observed. So, and that's the whole Schrodinger's cat analogy that he's putting out is designed to explain the concept that observation creates reality in quantum physics, essentially. Right? So, because there's no scientific way to prove whether or not the electron is there or not, until it is observed, it's in kind of a simultaneous state of being there and yet not being there at the same time. It doesn't make a lot of sense, so Schrodinger came up with this analogy of the cat in the box with the poison, and you don't know whether the cat is alive or dead until you open the box and observe the cat.
So you don't know if I'm Challenger or not, right? I could be fake or I could not be fake.
op.gg.
Yeah, until you are op.gg, you are Schrodinger's failure in Challenger. So yeah, the concept is it's a strange concept because quantum physics is strange and it doesn't follow normal thought processes. But yeah, the question is, and the thought experiment is basically that the cat exists simultaneously in both a state of life and death until the box is opened, and then you actually know whether or not the cat is dead. Right? So, Zill, actually, we had talked about what we were going to talk about today is maybe like the concept of like, do you follow shot calls? Is it a good, and then jokingly somebody said, well, yeah, you follow it if it's a good call, right? And to which I replied, every call is good until it's tested, right? To which Zill said, Schrodinger's shot call. And I was like, that's clever. That's clever as shit. Because the call is both good and bad until it is observed, until it is tested and the theory is done, right? So if a call is made and it is not promptly followed, and then it turns out horrible, we honestly don't know whether that call would have been good or bad. Because in the moment, it wasn't followed. And so what we did instead was something entirely different. We made the call if the call had been made 5, 10, or 15 seconds late. And in 5, 10, or 15 seconds, it was a bad call. Right? But if it had been there in a timely fashion, it may have been a great call. Right? If it had been timely or instantaneous. And in League, people have a tendency to do results-based analysis, which I think is faulty inherently, right? And that is especially true of shot calling, right? So
just to clarify, when you say result-based analysis, I'm dumb. I don't know. You mean
okay? I died, so it was bad.
Okay. Oh,
right?
Okay.
Right? Like, oh, well, we went in there and 4 of us died, so that was stupid to have gone in there. Right? And, well, sure, I mean, let's say we went in there and 4 of us died and we didn't get the Baron. So that was a really stupid shot call. And you may be objectively right. It may have been a completely blown shot call to go in. Or you could have shot everything backwards, missed all of your skill shots, and executed terribly. In which case, it wasn't the shot call that was the problem, it was your execution that was faulty.
Sure. Or the fact that maybe 3 people executed and 2 people decided not to.
Or it could be something like, we're on Baron. Commit to Baron, even if they show up, and then two teammates start fighting a Lux that's coming in.
And
that
then
could be something, right?
Then Baron
And then
has like 1,000 hit points and the Cho eats it. And he never would have gotten there to eating it if we had stayed on the Baron. Right?
Okay.
Or
So, I mean,
just all turn to fight him. Yeah, it's like doing things together as a group is what really impacts the situation.
yeah.
If you split your calls, you're going to have divided results.
Yeah. I mean, that's an absolutely fair statement. So, I mean, results-based analysis is absolutely bad in League of Legends. Like, you have to separate yourself out of what happened, and you have to ask yourself, okay, so in a vacuum, if everything had gone exactly the way that it should have gone, right? If Ari had landed her charm, if this happened and this was executed in this way, or if I had flashed that hook like I wanted to, how would that have changed? Would the outcome be different? And if the answer is no, and it wasn't an execution problem, then yeah, you probably made a bad call, right? Or you didn't account for something like minion damage, or you were too close to the tower, or you overestimated what the tower would do in damage, or etc., right? Like, any of these things can cause problems that have nothing to do with whether or not the actual call was bad.
Sure. I'm going to give you a little pushback on this, I think. Like,
Okay, sure, yeah.
Based analysis of this isn't what we're talking about. Because that's what opening the box and seeing if the cat is dead or alive is, right?
Right.
But what that's so looking at the result and then just assuming that the call was bad is what is incorrect, because there's multiple things that could have been wrong.
Yes.
The results, though, are of course what tell you that something is wrong. Either the call wasn't followed in a timely fashion, or the call was not followed by all parties involved, or the call was executed improperly by missing all your skill shots before you win it. Those kinds of things.
Okay, so here's my counterpoint, or my counter analogy to what you just said.
Sure.
Results-based analysis is like getting into a car accident and then going, well, that never would have happened if I had stayed home today.
I think it's more like something went wrong. What went wrong? And if you're just going to say you should have stayed home, you're not like actually doing the due diligence of analyzing the results.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So like, what I'm saying is, you can go in. Yeah, you can.
You guys are on the same side.
No, that's what I'm just saying. I have a different analogy for the same thing. Is you jump too far back. Like, instead of being like, yeah, I didn't use my turn signal, whoops, right? Or I didn't stop at the stoplight, whoops. You go, man, I just never should have left the house today. Driving was a bad idea.
Right.
Right? And it's like, well, no, driving was fine. You just fucked up driving.
Right.
So anyway, a second ago, you guys had said something before I launched into that rant that I did want to touch on, and I can't remember what, so you're going to have to help me out.
Was it about shot calling?
Yeah, but it was right after I said that. I don't know, man. It was good, too.
Was he
I just
talking
need
about
to
divided results when it was a good idea until somebody decided not to commit?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was it. So, like, in a setting with 5 people, right? It has always been a LOLA thing to say, like, a better call is the stupid call followed than, like, by all 5 people, than the, like, good call that 3 people commit to. Right? That's always been undisputed law of League of Legends according to LOLA. That being said, there are scenarios in which, like, teammates are not comfortable following each other. And
Raising my hand slowly.
yeah, like, we actually had that come up last week. Was it last week?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if it was this week or last week that this happened. But, like, so here's the situation. Is I was playing with Zill and another guy that wasn't super comfortable with the way in which I was shot calling things because I was playing a real like razor's edge approach, and they were not happy with they were not comfortable with how that was turning out, and because like a lack of comfort kind of breeds an inherent resistance to wanting to do something like right in the moment, the calls weren't working. Right, because they were being followed, but they were being followed with like just enough hesitation to make it not work.
Yeah.
Right, and so we actually had a talk after the game, and I was like, "Hey guys, I think it would actually be better if someone else shot called this game because my style is not resonating with everybody else." Right, and I didn't say that in a way that I'm like, fuck you guys are pussies. Like, it was nothing like that. That was the honest to God truth is like, I'm not being effective, right? Like, me as a shot caller is not working. I will follow your guys' calls because, I'll just do whatever you say and you're comfortable with what your calls are. So if we have 5 people on comfortable calls, then it's just better. Right? Like, even if it's not as sharp or whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're all on the same page that way. If I follow what you want to do instead of you follow what I'm wanting to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I
And
have this scary.
yeah, sure. Well, just result after that was the next game, I followed their calls and we crushed. Like, we absolutely crushed.
It
And
took 40 minutes, but we crushed.
yeah, I mean, it was a long game, but we crushed. And it wasn't just that somebody I know is thinking, yeah, it's because your calls suck. But no, that wasn't it. It wasn't that, like, the shot caller that
we were able to kind of slow down everything, and everyone then was able to, like, do things at the same time as a unit. When Blake was calling, we weren't reacting quickly enough. And I think that, like, you can kind of lay that at either person's feet at that point. It's just a difference in play style. It's just a difference in shot calling. And, like, you need to figure out what works better for the group dynamic that you have and the team comp that you have. I don't know. I know for me, like, I have trained my instincts to play passive, to play safe, and to look for when the enemy is going to make mistakes, which at the level I play at, everyone makes a lot of mistakes. So those opportunities do present themselves frequently, especially over time. Whereas Blake at the level he's playing at is looking to create opportunities for his team as soon as possible. Any inch, like, is the foothold that he needs in order to, like, take the game to the place where they have it in their control. And that's just difference right now in play styles. It might be because of Elo. It might be because of our play styles. I'm in a lower Elo.
Dude, I'll just say this. I've played with diamond players that aren't snap-on like that. Like,
Yeah.
that is a style that I play that... Okay, so for years, like, I went to the University of Missouri, and we had a basketball program that was... We had, like, Coach Anderson, who later went to Arkansas, but his deal was always, like, we play the full court press. Like, all the time. We make it real hard to get the ball down the field, and we make people do these things, and we put a lot of pressure on them, and we make them fuck up, and we play solid D. And that's how we're going to win games. And he actually did a pretty good job at Mizzou for a while there with the full court press. And Frank Haith did the same kind of thing, and that was like our style, was heavy pressure, speed, run, and, create these moments. But we could never get, like, the top tier basketball players to play because they didn't want to play that style, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Kansas and dunk on some kids with my identical monstrous twin. Fuck Kansas. Anyway, I'm a Mizzou guy. I get to say fuck Kansas. So fuck KU. And yeah, those two monstrous, I think, Morris twins. I was always thinking of Morris the Moose. So I think it was Morris because those guys were moose-like, huge man monsters. But God, could they play fucking basketball? Pieces of shit. Freaking so hard
how
to
did
beat
that-
those guys. But anyway, they played that style. It was like high pressure, fast, fast, fast. But if you put somebody like the Morris twins on that team and they had to run and play that speed all the time, it wouldn't work. And they're objectively good players. Right? Like, they're good. But they wouldn't fit in on that team. Shaq wouldn't fit in on that team. Right? Man's a lumbering giant. But he can, like, dunk like a motherfucker and you can't block him out. But if you had a player like that, you don't play full court pressure style. It doesn't work. You know, he'll die. Right? So, I mean, I've had diamond players that don't play at the speed and whatever that I want to. Right?
Sure.
And so it's not necessarily an elo thing. It is very much like a stylistic thing.
Right. And I was getting to that. It's
Yeah.
just like, and I will defend my style. Like, I think it's good. I think it works. And, like, I just think that different styles are different. And when you try to put them in a team game and you don't communicate well or you have resistance to communication, that's where your issues are going to come from. And it's not necessarily that either style is bad, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do in those situations in those games when you have, conflicting styles? Like, what's the better option?
For
Do you
me,
take the safer route?
I try to kind of figure out who like is going to be the dominant personality, and like I just follow. I'm a follower, so I will try to follow the other person. At some point, though, I will just throw it to the wind and be like, you know what, fuck you. If you want to do that, that's great, but I'm not following any more of those calls, and I'm going to make sure that most of the team follows what I want to do instead. But those are very rare instances. Those are usually like when we have like a split pushing Trendemir who just doesn't understand how map pressure works and just wants to go off and do his own thing. It's like, well, guess what? He can just do that. At least he's fucking distracting them from other objectives.
See, I had one game like a couple days ago where we were on the verge of losing. We only had Nexus turrets up, and I think they had two inhibs down, and both my top and jungler wanted to take on Baron because they were doing Baron. They want to try to steal Baron.
Mm-hmm.
My jungler, I think, was one level below.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that the waves are going to crash, and he's like, if we don't take Baron, we're going to lose regardless. But I was thinking, well, no, we have 2 AP champs. We have enough to kind of wave clear, hold things down. And so they ended up trying to steal Baron. They failed. We ended up losing the game regardless. And I kept trying to thinking back, it's like, you know what? I think he was right. I think we were going to lose regardless. I think he was right. That was the best option to come back in the game because we only had Nexus turrets up.
I'm a big fan of taking Baron and risky plays.
Yeah, but my style was that I want to be safer. We have no vision towards our top side red jungle to go like even check Baron. We might get like we're gonna face check bushes, but I think we should have done Baron. If we secured it, maybe even one of us had Baron buff, we could have saved the
I'm all
game.
about that, like, Hail Mary Baron play. 100% behind that, all the time. The thing is, if you call it, and the jungler doesn't come with you, then you can't do it. And it's, there's times like that when those communication issues, like, are very specific to a certain player following them.
Now, I do want to back up a second. Because, like, you said that, okay, so generally follow the most dominant playstyle. And, in fact, I'm going to say different, right?
Okay.
Because I think there is merit. If you can get everybody onto the most dominant playstyle train, then fine. But I find that people generally resist a polar change, right? And sometimes
it's a dominant personality, like the natural leader of
okay.
Well, is communicating the most. And like if it is, but not necessarily play style. If I said that, then yeah, I would agree with you.
Okay, maybe you did say personality, and I just assumed play style as a thing. But
like whoever's the natural leader, the best communicator, I'm like, if someone pipes up and says we should do this, and like I don't have anything super inherently against that, I'm just going to be like, yeah, what that guy said, because by supporting him, it kind of makes the team cohesive a little better, right?
So not the carry, but the guy who you have nothing against. He probably has a good reason to say that.
Sometimes it's the support, the guy.
It's either the support or the jungler.
Who, like is watching out for what's going on and knows where to be on the map.
Yeah, it's support are the real heroes here. We all know that.
No. We take we ADCs. We take all the credit.
Yeah, fucking glory hogs over here.
ADCs also take all the
Resources.
If things go, no, they take a bad bot lane. Like you'll get 4-man and 5-man, and it'll just be like, God, this bot lane or this ADC, the guy who got caught out.
Yeah, that never happens to me. I get high kill games because I carry everything.
I get anxiety playing ADC. I can't do that shit. That's too much pressure.
But no, what I was gonna say is like if you have a situation where you got a really vocal guy, and a lot of times, and this is in fives, this is not in solo queue. So like you are bringing a group of friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is oftentimes more effective to take the guy that wants to like take it to the limit and knock it down to where the group mentality is. It is more effective to do that than to try to bring everybody else up to the edge of like where the limit is, right? And whenever I say bring them up, that implies that they're like low. I don't mean that. I mean like I'm imagining a ladder, and on the bottom is like passivity, and then on the top is like hyper aggression.
Taking more initiative as a team of trying to get things done, right? And like the guy who's shot calling is enabling that to happen. He's bringing the effectiveness of everyone up by being the leader of the group and saying we should do this now, right?
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I actually think it's better to kind of bring expectations down to something everybody is more comfortable with, because that's where you're going to find instantaneous effectiveness than it is trying to like push everybody into a spot that they're uncomfortable with. And I think that like that game, like last week or whatever, whenever this came up,
Sure.
it was a really effective proving point on that, because the game that I was trying to be like, no, go now, no, go, and then I got us all killed, you know, and everyone's like, well, what the fuck? And I'm like, well, it would have worked, you know, but it
is like we recognized that it would have worked. Like the problem wasn't to go, Blake, you're a terrible shot caller. Why did you make that call? The call was wrong. No, it was the call wasn't followed correctly. It wasn't executed correctly on time by everyone. It could have worked in theory, but because we are having this group dynamic issue, we can't make calls like that.
Yeah, and I mean it's foolish, and this is true of a solo queue setting as well. But it's foolish to like stand on a point and be like, no, I'm right. This is the optimal way to do it. We should have done Baron right now. So instead of going to take a tower, I'm going to run and stand in Baron pit and ping assist by myself. And then I'm going to recall because fuck you guys. I was, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, maybe you were right. And maybe Baron was the best play. But they didn't go there. So you got to do something else, man. Like, you got to adjust. And saying this from my point of view, like, I am fucking terrible at that. Right? Like, I am not great at adjusting to, like, people that aren't comfortable with hyperaggression. And, like, I've been playing down a lot with the community. Like, I'm playing silver games all the time. I'm playing gold games all the time. And it's just something that, like, nobody is comfortable with. And I'm fine with that, right? But I'm not, it's not natural, and I'm not, like, as much as, like, Zillion, he always mentions, he's like, I have to constantly fight myself to make myself do what it is you're wanting me to do, right? Like, that was, like, a quote from you the other day when we were talking about the shot culture. Like, I have to fight my instincts to do what it is you're wanting me to do.
Yeah, everything in me screams, take the tower and run away. Don't dive. And everything that Blake is doing at me is dive the motherfuckers, then we get 2 towers.
Look.
And, like, those are 2 voices in my head that just hate
It's like the devil and the angel.
Yeah, I'm like,
which Blake do you listen
Definitely
to?
the devil.
murder, kill,
Kill. And then, like, yeah, I'm like, take what's in front of you and leave and don't die. And like,
Yeah.
you know, that's how we win this game. Slowly, methodically, fight front to back. But you know, like that's it's just hard. And the thing is, you know, as Blake and I play together more, you know, I think that like we'll come more to a happy medium. But yeah, right now it's definitely a stark contrast.
Well, no, it's funny because like he said that, and that resonated with me because I'm like, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying because I have that same thing with like, you know, playing silver games, and I'm like, I'm always thinking we're about to kill this minion, and after that minion, I'm gonna go all in. Like I've got level 2, they've got level 1 for the next 2 minions. If I can catch them right now, they are dead. Like they're just gonna die. And, you know, that is like hardwired into my brain. I cannot turn that off. And I am not capable of pulling back on the reins. Like, it's very difficult for me to do that. And, you know, I'll be playing with somebody and they won't even realize the significance of what I'm trying to do in the moment. Right? And it's like, I can't effectively do that. And I know it's like it is exactly like fighting your instincts in everything it is you're doing, right?
It hurts. It's
yeah, I know it sucks.
Yeah.
But you know that's something that I actually need to do to be effective, even in Diamond, because I will play with the Diamond ADCs that are just they're not laners. They didn't get to Diamond by laning really hard. They got to Diamond by safe positioning in team fights, right? And I mean, yeah, they could probably improve their game by laning harder, but I'm not going to be the one to teach them that, not in one game.
Not today.
Yeah, not in one game that I happen to get paired up with them. It's not going to change, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a skill that anybody in League can focus on, and that's adapting to who you're paired with.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at it. Like really, really bad at it. And I try to hard force people to do what it is I am doing rather than adapting. Right? And that's a deficit in my game. And a lot of people justify that deficit by saying, well, I'm right. Right? Well, it doesn't matter because I'm right. I'm playing in an optimal manner. We should have gone Baron. Ping, 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 ping. Like, no. You're just kind of a jackass because you're not doing what's optimal in the moment, right? And that is me. Like, I am that person. I'm not the guy who stands at Baron and pings because I'm not that bad about it. But, like, I am the guy that's like, God damn it, why aren't we playing more aggressive? We should be. Let's go. Get in there. And then, you know, shit backfires.
When you say optimal in the moment, you mean optimal in everyone's eyes?
No, I mean optimal in the moment, like if we should, like the true optimal, like optimal prime. You get it? Yeah. So the true optimal would be we took that tower, we aced them, now we go Baron, right? Like that's the optimal play. If that's the case, that may be the true optimal. But our team didn't go to Baron, and we've pushed the minion wave, and now we're 10 seconds closer to the next tower. And maybe we take that tower now is the new optimal play because that's the optimal play in the moment because we've foregone the Baron play, right? So now we take this tower and then we recall because we don't have time to take the tower and Baron.
Okay.
Right.
You confused me a little bit there. I was like, oh, listen to whatever the guy who's pinging 12 times is saying. I was like, wait, that's not what he's saying, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
you teach us to be toxic, Blake?
Yeah, ping 13 times. You know, that's the trick. But no, I mean, like I said, it's optimal now in the moment to keep pushing towers because that's what your team did, and that's what you should do, right? Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I did want to talk about like Schrodinger's cat style, like analyzing plays. You make a call. And you cannot judge what that call is going to be. You cannot judge the outcome without looking at kind of all the parts and pieces of it, right? And no call is truly bad unless it is just completely followed to the T and failed anyway, right? And you will never know whether a call is bad that you did not follow. Well, no, that you never followed. It's Schrodinger's call
Sure.
because you never opened the box.
Right, that's true.
So you don't know if the call was bad or not. There are times that I have had in when I was first getting Diamond for the very first time, like 2 seasons ago. We had this guy, and he was making these Baron calls, and I'm like, oh, this is a stupid idea. This is gonna get us all killed. Holy shit! What a dumbass. We don't even have vision set up. This is really, really dumb. And I went anyway. And the whole time we're doing this, I'm like, I'm waiting for this shit to backfire. I know this isn't gonna work. Holy shit, we got Baron. Like
holy shit, we got Baron.
I was like, what? Like, I guess it did. Okay, good call, dude. How many times have you guys had that happen in League where you're like, I don't see it, I'm freaked out, I think it's gonna suck, and then, oh wow, holy shit.
You really feel in those super tight games, those super tight close games. It's like, wow, we actually did that call.
Yeah.
And every time you learn something in that.
Yeah.
But if you never followed it, if you backed away and then that guy dies because you didn't follow up on what he was trying to do, and then you walk away going, dumbass. It's idiots like this is why I don't climb.
But then you realize you're the idiot.
Actually, for a second, it's like making the decision or the call to do Baron doesn't mean you have to stay on Baron. Like, there's a lot of dancing that goes into this sometimes when people come up and you see a TP coming in. You then have a chance to make another call. Okay, a TP is coming into the Baron pit that we didn't see before, or off in the tri rush above the Baron pit. What do we do now? And then the call can change. It's another shot call to make, right?
Right. I mean, it's a moving, shot calls are living, breathing things.
Like cats.
Well, half of the time.
Oh, that's good. Good one.
We'll find.
Okay,
We'll find out when we open the box, right? So, okay, with that, I think we'll end this discussion today. Do we have any other announcements or anything? We kind of made them all at the beginning, but
Yeah. We should coin that term. What's it called? Schrodinger's shot call?
Schrodinger's shot call.
We gotta coin it.
Well,
and send it off LCS.
that's the name of the announcement for sure. That's this episode's title for sure. Is that?
Take all the credit.
Yeah, that's a Zill title, so you know it was quality.
No, I got nothing else. Watch those damn videos, people.
Yeah, no, seriously, I actually made Ollie into a human experiment just for the sake of and that very well could have backfired. He could be like, I knew all that shit. And I'm like, God damn it.
Granted, I knew what it was, didn't know a name, and I didn't know why I did it to the fullest extent.
Mhm.
But I learned the other half. It's why do I do this? Why should I do this instead of this when I do that? I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, who knows?
So
and
it took me 4 seasons. I could have got it in 7 minutes.
So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Why don't you watch a few more between now and next week, right?
Okay.
And you tell me what, if anything, you learned, and we'll give you a little soapbox to go on, what you got better at in the last week watching those videos.
Okay.
Because
We'll see if I make it a diamond by next week.
well, no, here's what I'm thinking. No matter how much I preach this, there are going to be certain people that are like, I don't want to do fucking videos. So if I have that, and that's the hill I've got to get over, then let's make it as digestible as humanly possible. So even if I just give them secondhand the highlights of what you got out of it, then maybe that'll help somebody. You know. If
I make it past my peak in League is, I think, Plat 2 promos. That's my peak ever. If I make it past Plat 2, then the videos work. Simple as that.
This seems like a flawed test.
No.
Throw that out there. This seems like a really bad test. 'Cause shit can happen. Yeah.
But
So
I'll give my personal observations on it.
well, no, it's
I'll learn a thing or two.
for me. I'm like, yeah, these videos are like the bananas hanging in the tree, and I get that a lot of people they don't want to climb the tree. They don't want to pick the bananas. So I'm gonna pick the bananas, and then they're like, well, man, I don't want to peel the banana because it's 7 minutes long. And I'm like, well, okay, fuck it. Here, I'll peel. Here's the banana. I peeled it for you. And they're like, man, I don't know. I can't eat that with a spoon. I'm like, motherfucker. All right, fine. Ollie, you smash this banana. You tell them how good it is, and I will give it to them that way, secondhand, baby food style. Eat the fucking bananas, please. You fucking bonobos. Get better at League. So, all right. That being said, we'll end it right there. Good night, everybody. All right.
That was good.
I thought it was a good one.